Alrighty, everybody. We are back at Ant's Community Garage, and we're doing the important work of suspension. And maybe we can fix this dent in the door and this little dent in the bumper. Suspension, control arm, and then after this, we're taking it to Les Schwab to get the alignment. So I'm gonna try to record all the progress and hope you guys enjoy. So I'll get back to you guys in just a minute when I get it all parked inside and on the lift. All right, we're in the shop. We're about to take the wheels off like we did before. Of course, I think this is a 20, or it says 19, but I think I was using the 20 because it's a lot easier. I'll get all of off, and then I'll show you the work we're gonna do. I got one of the control arms ready right now. As soon as I get the control arms done, we're gonna do the suspension. So this one is the new one, and it looks like that on both sides. And then you can see the old ones right there. Awesome. See you guys in just a second after I get the wheels off. All right, so we got the wheels off, and I just noticed something really fun. So I got all my lug nuts over here, but if you do a nice count, there's one missing. On my passenger wheel, I was missing a lug nut, and I don't know where it is. So I'm hoping that it didn't break off, or I forgot to put it on, or something. I don't know, but I'll have to ask and see if they have a spare lying around. But yeah, first thing we need to do is get this bolt and this nut out of here, and then we'll get these off. I believe this is a 19. This might be a 19 and a 17. And then we'll also have to undo this one and undo this guy. And then we'll have to try to work it out and hammer it out and get to it. So yeah, I'll get back to you guys in just a minute. Okay, minor update real quick. The sway bar end links were a pain in the ass. I was only supposed to get the one side out, but this design is different than the one that I was watching on the video. So I ended up getting these replacement ones, and I'm just gonna pull it out. This is usually going from here to here, connects to the sway bar, and then goes to the control arm. So I'm just gonna pull this one out and replace it with the new one, because the new one will be easier to put it in and out, whatever it is. So yeah, I'll get back to you guys in just a minute. All right, we got one of the control arms off. We got this guy. Look how heavy duty that is. We just need to feed it up here. I'm gonna bend this into place a little bit so that it will fit, and then tap it in, and then start bolting stuff down. And yeah, should be good. Looks way more heavy duty though than that one does. So maybe it'll be amazing. All right. All right, so we're halfway there. We just gotta get this up a little bit more, tap this up, and then get the one of those guys over there and kind of push it into place, and then compress it so that it's good. And then this side's done. And then we go over there and finish up. I gotta actually still put the new control, the sway bar end links in on this side, so gives me some space to work, I guess, but we shall see. So as you can see, we have attached the sway bar end links. And we're gonna work on attaching this one here, screwing it down, and then we can tighten it down a little bit. I also have this adjuster. It's like a jack. This is going to help me to compress, or helped me to compress the, well, actually I need to compress. It will help me to compress the shocks and the new control arm so that I can tighten down the bolts. So this is the new shocks, or what they look like for the front. This one is going to go on the front driver's side, and I've already loosened up the bottom bolts, and I just need to undo the ones on top. And once I do that, it'll fall out and we can put the new one in, and everything should fit just fine. Alright, so we got the shock in on the driver's side, and the next step is going to be lifting it back up and using the compressor to compress the shock so that it fits in and tightens down correctly. Alright, so we're working on the passenger side, and you want to use a 12mm ratchet to get these top nuts off, and then you'll use a 12mm again to get these nuts that are holding the ABS and the brake line wire hose. And then on these bigger bolts, you'll be using a 19mm open end socket and regular wrench. The reason why I've had to do this overdub is my microphone decided not to record anymore when I was making the video, so that's why I have this weird overdub that's going on in the background. Alright, we just got done with the rear end, and the only real difference between the front and the rear is, I guess the rear is mostly easier. We had to gain access through the trunk area, pulling back the cloth cover and taking out the mat in the middle. And then when we put the shocks in, after taking out the old ones, we had to compress them to put the bolt through, and then compress them again so that it would simulate the ride, the shocks being at ground level ride height. And then we could tighten it down to torque the spec and go from there. But yeah, that about wraps it up for this one, and I hope that it was semi-helpful. And as you can see, I'm a little bit dirty, so I'm really hoping to get out of here soon. But I guess I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. But it's always a surprise.